put your hands together and sort of press them together, but not very hard.
Okay.
Do you feel any tingling or burning?
No.
This is a valence test, so if he doesn't experience any pain, tingling, or burning, that would be a negative. Okay, now I'm going to do, you can read. Okay, I'm just going to tap here on this medial part of your wrist, okay? Do you experience any pain with that?
No.
Okay, how about this part? Do you see what was in there? That's the tensile test. If he did experience pain, he would either have carpal tunnel or some neurological dysfunction, nerve damage, or something here in his hand, but he is okay. So, now what we're going to do is move on to our cranial nerve. Cranial nerve 1 is the olfactory nerve. It is typically not tested, but for the purpose of this video, we will test it. So I'm just going to place my finger, and I want you to sniff. He's patent and clear. Now, I'm going to ask you to close your eyes, and I'm going to give you a couple things to smell, and I just want you to tell me what it is. Again?
Peppermint or pumpkin spice.
Yes, very good. Okay, keep your eyes closed. I'm going to give you one more.
Vanilla.
Vanilla, very good. So obviously optic nerve 1 is intact, so we will move to optic nerve 2, which is the optic nerve. So let me grab something real quick. Okay, you can open your eyes. Now, if you would take this card and cover your right eye,
Okay.
okay? And then I would like you to read me this paper.
A B C D 1 2 3 4 E F G.
Good. On the other side.
A B C D 1 2 3 4 E F G.
Good. He is holding the paper at a distance that would be expected for him to be able to read, and this indicates that he can see equal and bilateral from both eyes. So we will then move on to cranial nerves 3, 4, and 6, which control eye movement and pupil constriction. So let me get a couple things again. All right. As I examine him, just inspect his face, I notice that his eyebrows and his eyes are equal bilaterally. I do not notice any nystagmus or strabismus in him. One eye is not higher than the other, and that all seems to be good as well. Now, what I want you to do is look at my finger, and with your eyes only, do not turn your head. I want you to follow my finger, okay? This is the 6 positions of cardinal gaze. Now, you might detect some slight nystagmus when the eye is in an extreme lateral position, and that's normal. Okay, you did that good. Now let me get a light quickly. Now, just kind of look over my shoulder. And I'm just going to shine here in the middle. And I have corneal reflex. Corneal light reflex is equal on his eyes bilaterally. His pupils dilated and constricted. At this time, I would take the opportunity to take the ophthalmoscope and look in the internal structures of his eye, and I would turn the light off, but for filming purposes, I'm not going to turn the light off. What I would be looking for here, and I would put my head very close to his where I could see and adjust the instrument for visualization. I would be looking at the optic disc. I would be looking for good vascularization through the retinal vessels, and I would be looking for the macula, which should lie 2 discs lateral of the optic disc. So we're going to say that his assessment and examination were fine. Now we're going to move on to the trigeminal nerve, which is 4 or 5. And again, I'm just going to have you clench and unclench your teeth. And as he expressed before, he has no discomfort with that motion of clenching or even opening and closing his mouth. Now I'm going to move on to cranial nerves. No, I'm not. I'm going to do the light touch on your face, okay? So I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to tell me when you feel me touch your face, okay? And that is the 6 areas that the trigeminal nerve controls. So it's very important that the patient be able to feel when you lightly touch their face with cotton. All right, we're going to go to cranial nerve, the facial nerve. So I want you to smile. And again, we notice that there's total symmetry in his face. When he smiles, this all comes up evenly. Frown. Raise your eyebrows. Show your teeth. Okay, now I want you to close your eyes, and I'm going to try to open them, and I want you to try to resist me, okay? Good. So, again, everything is intact and moving well. So then we're going to move on to the acoustic test for his ear. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover your ear, okay? And I'm going to repeat, I'm going to say a word, and I would like you to repeat it back to me, okay?
Car.
Good. Airplane.
Airplane.
Good. Now, at this point, we would also take a tuning fork and perform a couple of tests, the Weber test and the Renna test. The Weber test is for bone conduction, the Renna test is for air conduction. What I would do, if I had the proper instrument, tap the tuning fork and place it in the center of your head. You would then tell me if you could hear the sound bilaterally in both ears, in one ear, or in no ears at all, or better in one ear than the other. I would tap it again, place it here, and you would tell me when the sound stops. If we had the instrument and could properly conduct that test. But that's how it's done. All right, so now we're going to go to the vagus nerve. And I'm going to ask you to open your mouth and say ah. The uvula arises and the soft palate arises to the midline, and I really hate to do this. Gag reflex is intact. He may no longer be my friend after today. Okay, now if you could lie down, please. Are you comfortable?
Yep.
Do you need to move back just a little bit?
Sure.
Okay, because you're kind of hanging off the table. Now, I want you to close your eyes, just lay your arms relaxed by your side, and I'm going to touch you with something sharp and something dull, and I want you to tell me which is sharp and which is dull, okay?
Sharp. Dull. Sharp. 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 Dull. Dull. Dull.
Good. So he can differentiate between pain and dull, and he can tell probably in which location that I'm touching him with. So now I'm going to ask you to close your eyes again. I'm going to stick you on your finger with something sharp. I want you to tell me when you feel one pain instead of two, okay? Sorry.
One.
Good. Although I was still touching him with two, we were close enough that the pain sensation became as one. Okay, now, keeping your eyes closed, I'm going to touch you, and I want you to tell me if I'm touching you once or twice. And if once means with one finger, twice means I'm going to touch you at the same time. Does that make sense? Okay, here we go.
Once. Twice.
Good. Now, when I touch you, I want you to point to where I have touched you, okay? Good. Good. Now, I'm just going to raise your shirt just a little bit. And I'm going to rub this across your stomach, and you can either open your eyes or close them. It's up to you. It isn't sharp, see? It's just a hemostat, so it's not scissored. All right? As I move this across his stomach, I see the umbilicus moves toward where I've touched him. And I see ipsilateral muscle movement on the abdomen. Very good. Now, if you would like to sit up, I will then do a couple more things. Now, you can close your eyes. Now, I'm going to put something in your hand, and I want you to tell me what it is.
It's a paperclip.
Okay, keep your eyes closed.
Car key.
Good. Keep your eyes closed. I'm going to write a number or letter on your hand. I want you to tell me what that number or letter is, okay?
8.
Good.
Do it again.
Okay.
13.
Good. Very good. Let me put these tools away. All right. You can open your eyes. Well, I would just use this as my trusty reflex hammer. Okay, can you just let your legs dangle and just relax them? Yeah, just a little bit. So I'm going to start with your arms just to help you relax some. I'm going to support your arm here. I'm going to put my thumb here. And we're going to test this reflex, okay? If I had the hammer, this may or may not make him actually perform the action. I would strike my own thumb, not the patient, with the tip end of the hammer. This should elicit a reflex. I would perform the test on the other arm. Then I'm going to check your brachial reflex, supporting his arm. I'm going to tap. Typically, this would move out. This would be conducted on the other arm, okay? Now just relax. I'm going to he's got some shorts on, so I'm just going to push him up a little bit. I'm just going to feel the muscle in his leg just to make sure it's not boggy or atrophied. It isn't. He has very strong muscle. Again, he's very young. Here on the kneecap, I don't notice any swelling or fluid collection around the kneecap. No swelling noted in his leg, so I would just kind of hold my hand here and whack. And he would probably do that. All these reflexes would be graded on a scale 1, 2, 3, or 4. 1 or 0, which is absent. 1, minimal. 2, probably normal. 3, somewhat normal, could be somewhat aggressive. 4 is a highly aggressive reflex. If you get a highly aggressive reflex, you want to test for clonus, which you would take the person's leg and flex it and hold on, and you would still feel vibration and movement in this muscle after you applied the force. So I hate to ask you, but could you lie down one more time? I'm going to test his Achilles. So I'm going to you relax your leg. Let me hold it. Good. I'm going to flex his foot up, and I would strike and strike. Okay? And we're just going to say that all your reflexes were a 2. So you did very well. I'm going to pretend that he has his shoe off, and I'll explain this procedure. We would go up the lateral side of the foot across to the big toe. If his toes fanned out, that would be a positive